Wafa Wafa 3.0. My goodness. My goodness. What a ride. What a ride. I think we all agreed that this was the fastest Wafa Wafa we've ever seen. And the conditions were perfect. Just the night before, it was drizzling a bit. So the next morning, it was nice and cool. It started, as if it was going to be a bit chilly. But then the weather just came to the party, played along, and then the action started. We saw Scooter starting everything. He just went on a breakaway, boom. And obviously we knew what he was trying to do. So the guys were there, just to keep it together, and they brought him back. And then going up towards Com. I think there's one thing that I've learned in Wafa Wafa. There is no obvious. There is no obvious. I mean, we had Carbon Body from Team Azlalinawe who went for the GOM, and you almost got it. And I think that put a panic onto the peloton, because they thought they would catch him, but only to realize that he was close to, he was probably 100 meters away from the line. And then guys started pushing hard up Panda with hope that, they would catch him. And that put a lot of guys into the red, because now guys were, out of their comfort zone. And now they were going up Panda, with probably into zone 5, zone 6, heart rates above 200, because it was high. It was very high, and it was attacks and attacks, guys trying to breach Carbon Body, at the same time trying to have a gap so that they can break away. And I must say, it was just a matter of who had the strongest legs at the time, and who could endure the pain that was inserted. And I must say, Scooter had the legs. He had the legs to endure the pain and to bridge and catch and go over to win the comp. So I mean, brilliant work from Scooter, and also a brilliant attempt from Team Azlalinawe. They really tried. They really tried. In fact, it happened for the second time, the way they almost, but not. But other than that, brilliant effort. Brilliant effort from the guys. The action started very early. And then we went from there on, we went to the sprint. My goodness. So here we are from the sprint from Com to the sprint. So I could see my favorite team, which was almost elite. I think I could see their plan after the Com, that they wanted to hold the peloton and then control it, because they tried to keep formation. When they tried to keep formation, I know Stay was there. I think he was the third wheel, and then Kolisi was the fourth wheel. And, they were keeping it. I think they were going at about 35-40 kilometers per hour up those rolling hills. And boom comes Mazola and Tlotlo, who they just went. And I must say, Tlotlo Selale, I think Tlotlo Selale is a brilliant rider. He's got the intelligence. But I think at one point, like any other situation, you need to have some support. And I think the only thing that was lacking is just that he was alone. He needed to have at least two guys extra that could really fight for him. He was alone, and because there was still, it was just under. I think we had already covered just about 15-16 kilometers, where he was on a breakaway. For me, it was too early. It was too early, especially if you are alone. If you are alone and you are in a breakaway with two extra guys who are not your team members, so you will try and make them to push so that the breakaway could work. but they sometimes might not work with you and say, no, this is not our time, or this is not our plan. So they'll bring you back. So for me, I think it was just that. I think if that's my opinion, if Tlotlo was a bit patient, and really his approach to the ride, if it was a bit different, to say, listen, I'm alone, so let me not do a lot of work. Let me allow the bunch to take me as far as they can, and then see gaps where you can try and form partnerships with few people. Fortunately, if you're alone, you negotiate with people in the bunch. For example, if I was Tlotlo, I would have probably spoken to Tseho from Xanity. I would have spoken to him because he was also alone. So I would have said, listen, you are one, I'm one, so let's try and do this thing and see how far we can help each other. So those are the things that you do normally when you're in a peloton, especially if you find yourself alone. You sign contracts right there. And say, listen, this is where we found ourselves. Let's push. We'll contend at the end. Maybe if you're contending for a com or contending for a sprint, but then you can try and make arrangements there. But other than that, Tlotlo, for me, he rode very well. He ended up becoming more of a domestic because he was alone, so he needed to cover a lot of gaps to try and be in a breakaway that sometimes don't work. Same as Tseho. Tseho is a promising young rider. You know what I'm saying? But I know he had then signed a contract with someone and said, listen, let me rather work for you, So he ended up working for someone towards the end, and because he knew that he probably didn't stand a chance if it was alone or what. So so those are the things, and I think those are the things that we want to see, and that's the whole aim of Wafa Wafa. So the aim of Wafa is just so that you as a rider can constantly perfect your riding skills, But I'll talk about that towards the end. And then I also Team 189 was there. They really did a lot of work. I saw their moments in the ride. There were some moments. For me, I would advise that you stick together, because in most cases, Boo was in the front and some of his team members were scattered, because sometimes you know how the peloton is. You stick in the peloton, the next thing, people start rotating, you move to the back, and you don't know where you are. The next when you look, hey, there's my partner in the front, I'm in the back, and now you need to try and go to the front, and when you go to the front, you try and locate your partner. Wherever you are, the other opponents or the other riders don't want to open for you so that you can speak to. So you always make sure that you stick together so that communication is easier. You know what I'm saying? So that if ever you need someone to say, listen, there's a breakaway, you can go, I'll stay. At least they're right next to you. And that's that. The other thing that I would also like to see was that guys don't communicate. Guys don't communicate when they're in a bunch. I know I saw a lot of guys from almost elites. I know I could really hear them speak. They were communicating very well, and that was good. But other teams don't communicate. They just go in, they ride, and they assume that the other rider, their fellow rider, will understand what is it that they're trying to do. And sometimes I think that's where we lose each other as riders. So communication then becomes very important in a peloton. You speak, you scream, if ever you need to scream. You make the rider is in front of you aware, and the rider at the back of you aware, especially if you know that there's a bit of danger. If someone is not concentrating, you tell them, say, Baba, you're not concentrating, keep your wheel. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you crash, you're the one that loses a bike, that loses a bone, that gets injured. So make sure that you always communicate. But other than that, brilliant riding. And again, for me, I saw from Scooter and Vaki, I mean, really were dominated by two guys, by Scooter and Voice, they were really pushing very hard. Stay was there. Steer was there in the middle. I think maybe his role was just to make sure that he picks up. He was, for me, he played the role of the intelligent guy, of the intel. He was the guy that was picking the intel and just giving to the guys as to what is that's happening and what's about to happen. Pete was there as well. I saw Pete. I think I saw him towards sprint where he tried, but he was not lucky. But other than that, Vaki, I think Vaki is a team to watch, wherever they come. I think for me, Vaki is very disciplined. There's nothing that is I'm just trying to think of an English word, and Lancy, and I can't think of one. There's nothing that is satisfying as being a team that is disciplined and riding according to your strength. That's one thing that you can't get, that you can't break. When people ride according to their strength, understanding your team and understanding the team strength, and then you plan according to that. For them, they knew that they had the strongest guy at the time is Scooter, right? And secondly, and if you know that's your strength, it's always about they would always position Scooter at the right time. For me, that's what made it. Is positioning your strongest rider. Positioning your strongest rider. If you could watch, Scooter will be in the front, but he will not really do a bit of work. He will not do a lot of work. He would go do a bit and go back. Go do a bit. But majority of the time, it was Voice and Steer in the front there, doing so that their guys would rest. And that's where they caught a lot of teams off guard. That's where they caught a lot of teams off guard, because guys would send their main guys in the front to do the work. And then by the time they come to the hot spots where it's a com or a sprint or an overall, the main people are already in the raid, and it becomes a bit difficult then to take those extra watts for a sprint or something like that. So for me, that's that. And I think it was eminent when we were going for the sprint, where you would find ECC was bringing their guy who was their sprint. I think this time it was Kamo. So Kamo, I think there are two guys. It was Kamo and Tlutlo. So Tlutlo was already in a breakaway with Voice, but Voice was clever enough, because I could see Tlutlo wanted to push for the line, but Voice kept on pushing him back so that Scooter could come. So that's Tlutlo, because Voice knew that probably he didn't have the legs for sprint because they had already given a lot. So he pushed Tlutlo back in such a way that Scooter could come, and he must be the one that finishes. So I think for me, that was also one of the highlights of the ride, where Voice was very intelligent to ensure that he doesn't take Tlutlo. Well, I know we had two Tlutlos in the peloton. We had Tlutlo from ECC and then Tlutlo from Exaro. So Voice was in a breakaway with Tlutlo from ECC towards the finish line. So not the Exaro Tlutlo in this regard. So that's where now Voice kept on, because Tlutlo would go to the front, put in the watts so that they keep on going towards the end, and then the two of them must contend for sprint, but Voice didn't do that. But towards the end, that's when he saw that, okay, now Tlutlo has put in a lot of work, and then Voice went on a break to hope that, okay, let me push it towards the end. By that time, I think it was a bit late, because the peloton was just behind here. Now, problem with that, at the time, I still feel that if probably ECC was there in time with Kamo, we will probably have seen a different result. But the problem is that they needed to come from the back, probably 500 meters, and push so hard to try and catch the breakaway. By the time they got to the breakaway, they'd put in a lot of work. So there was nothing left for the final sprint of the push. At that time, who is pushing and bringing the sprinter is ECC, is Tabang, it's Vini, it's Mazola, and then Kamu there, and Scooter there. So Scooter was not even in the front, he was just sitting at the back, allowing these guys to take him to the finish line. So he had a lot to reserve. So by the time he got there, all he had to do was just to tap the ball into the net. So he just had to say left, right, and then go. So by the time he looked, it was Kamu, and Kamu looked at the back, bam, here is Scooter. So he tried to go, but because he was already coming about 400 meters flying to try and catch to catch, the first thing that he wanted to do was to catch the breakaway and then go for the finish line. But already he had spent a lot of money trying to do that, so there was nothing more to spend, But Scooter, again, his positioning was spot on. He was clever enough to just sit and allow the guys to take him to the finish line, and then he would do that. So for me, I think ECC could have been clever enough to maybe send a Tabang and a Mazola to bridge, and then Vini and Kamu must be behind Scooter, so that they because I think they would have probably could have handled the situation better. But again, it's a different story when you are sitting in the car and watching, and it's a different story when you are actually in the ride and you are expected to do this stuff. So like I'm saying, for me, positioning was the key there, and I must give it to Scooter, who was well positioned, who used the situation to his advantage, and that's what that's what you must do. You must be able to read your surrounding and to read the situation and make sure that you use it to your advantage. And that's what happened until the sprint. And then we stopped at the water point, and I could see a lot of teams were not happy, because now we had the same guy, Scooter, who took the sprint. We had Scooter who took the com, and guys they were dominated now. They were dominated, and guys were very angry. I could pick a lot of tensions there, because guys, they tried. There was a bit of restructuring of ideas, and which was good. And I think that's the beauty of Wafa Wafa, is that you've got 3 opportunities in one ride. So you can always just, if after this one, okay, let's revisit, restructure. That's the second one, revisit, restructure. Sometimes you don't even need to restructure. It's just that the plan worked. It's just that the finishing, unfortunately, but guys were there, and I could pick that, they were planning around, and then from there it went again for the com. So I knew personally that steps would be a decider. And then there was a breakaway of quite a big number. It was a breakaway of, I think, about 10 guys. And big names in the breakaway. The guys went very hard. They went very hard, and they kept it going. There was a bit of attacks on the flat, but the guys kept it going. They went. I think guys were going at about 45 to 50 kilometers per hour, going towards steps. And just at that 4-way, when they crossed, a lot of guys were, I could see, even if I was in the car, I could hear that the breathing was very high now. The guys, the heart rate was going up for most guys. And by the time we got mid steps, there was a breakaway of 3 off that, about 10. So 7 suffered, and then 3 was there. And we had Scooter, Vini, and almost elites, Master Eugene. Eugene was there, but I must say Eugene was smart enough. He knew his strength. He knew he was against 2 top guys. So they forced him to rotate, and he said, bullshit, I'm not going to rotate with you guys. You guys are very strong. I'm going to sit at the back. You know what I'm saying? For me, that was something good. I would have probably done the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But because remember, if someone is sucking your wheel and you are not happy about it, you must make sure that you drop him. So that's it. So Vinny and Scooter were very frustrated that Eugene was sitting at the wheel and he didn't want to play along. But eventually Eugene gave in and went and said, okay, let me give it a shot. And for me, that was the moment. That was a mistake for Eugene. He was not supposed to do that. Unfortunately, they can shout at you, Eugene. They can scream at you. They can swear at you, but they can't stop and beat you. That's all. Always remember that. Because as soon as they do that, then they are disqualified. So I wouldn't have advised you to go to the front. I would have said, damn you guys, I'm gonna sit at the back. Drop me if you can. But the guys did that. They went very hard, and just toward the end, I think Eugene gave in. It was too much for the power that was going. I mean, the guys were going up steps at 40 kilometers per hour. 40 kilometers per hour up steps. You must try it on just one day when you have time. Go up steps at 40 kilometers per hour and see how far you will go. So the guys were going there at 40 kilometers per hour, and it was hectic. By the time we got just over steps at those robots there by Tokoza, damn it, it was pain. And now we only had two guys. We had Vinny and Scooter. You will never ever see that combination again. Now, these two guys are elite, they are top notch, they went for it. And yes, they worked together, turning left there by Tokoza, passing the robots. They went straight towards Mall of the South, and I knew they'll keep it together. They'll keep it together until Mall of the South, and then they turned left towards Ridgevlei. I think that's where the tactics started. Because one, you don't want to see yourself in the front, because the best attack is always the attack that comes from the back, because you will always catch your opponent off guard. So they rotated. Vinny was in the front, Scooter was in the front, but towards the end, just towards the end, Vinny was in the front. Now he was the guy who had to play the cat and mouse now, because now Scooter was on the left, and I think most of you saw the video. Scooter was on the left, and Vinny went to the left to try and block him. By the time he was on the left, Scooter's on the right, and he already launches an attack. And by the time your reaction, reaction is very quick, because one, you need to stand up. Two, you need to change your gear into the right gear. At that time, you need to change your gear into the right gear so that you can kick, and then your legs must kick in. And I think for me, all that combination was too much for Vinny to try and get into the right gear and also stand up. And at the time when you had the back, Scooter was already prepared for that, because he knew that, okay, I'm at the back. By the time he looks at the back and tries to go in, just that 2 seconds of looking at the back and going to the front, going to the front versus someone who's already in that position, is difficult. So by the time he tried to go, Scooter had already gotten the momentum to go, and and I think Scooter took it. But for me, those are two brilliant athletes, Vinny and Scooter. Fine, Vinny, you might not have gotten it on the day, but for me, I don't take anything away from you. That was the most brilliant ride we'll ever see and experience in our lifetime for black riders. That was one of the best. I was very emotional there. I was very emotional that we could arrange such a platform for you guys to do what you did. And heads up for your fighting efforts. And I'm hoping that we'll see a bit of these combinations also when you ride in different races in the future, where you guys will assist one another, because I still feel that both of you can do it. But other than that, I think going back to teams, I would really want to see, for me, Vukani has got the numbers, and by them having the numbers, they have the power of, they've got a variety of riders, different style of riding. And for me, if you guys could bring 7 or 10 riders who would ride A, I don't see what would stop you. dude, you have Shoni there, you've got Shoes, you've got Coach Diego there. I know you've got this other two riders. I don't know their names. You've got KG. You've got a lot of riders. You've got a lot of riders where you can just pull out. Really, there are two teams that I really wish they would win a Wafa Wafa from the A group. I know you've got already won it. Go the ladies, Fifi. That's fine. That one I know, but I would really like to see you guys winning the A group. And for me, I think you can do it with the numbers that you have. I think you can do it. You've got the intelligence of Shoes. Shoes is a very smart rider. So Shoes doesn't have to be the main man, like the guy that goes for com or sprint, but I know he's intelligent enough to deploy riders at the right time. I think I think he can do that. And then for me, also teams like Almost Elites, they are, in fact, all of it's just okay. Let me not talk about Mqo yet. Mqolisi, I don't really know him that much, but the first five that I know, Kiho, and the first five, because now Mqo is the sixth rider. For me, Almost Elites, they are a very strong team. But again, I think that you guys don't ride according to your strength, because you guys know your strength. And I think sometimes trying to be in the front to dominate and try and control works against you, because you find yourself having to do, you end up putting, because let's say if you have 6, about 3 can do what you want to do. 3 can do, the other 3 can't do what you want to do. So now you end up putting the 3 into the red whilst the other 3 survives. So now if this 3 goes into the red, then the whole team struggles. So I would say that always stick in the group and release your guys towards the end. For me, I don't see what is stopping you guys from winning the sprint with Lizo's power. He's got a lot of power. It's all about bringing him. Always make sure that stick in the peloton and guard him. Even it means that you push him towards the end, because when he's at the end, I think that he can deliver. So remember, this is just my opinion. Don't try and go and control the bunch. Don't do that. For me, don't do that. For me, I think with the 6 guys that you have, the 6 guys, I think you can ride with the bunch, but you don't have the strength yet to control it. Do you know what I'm saying? You can ride with it, but you don't have the strength to put it here, to put the bunch here and try and control it and dictate. For me, that's where I see the gap. So stick to the bunch and go as far and release your guy there. Don't panic if you see a breakaway. Breakaway will always be brought back. You always use the peloton to bring a breakaway. You don't even have to do it. You just sometimes need to say, let's get them back, boys. You just need to scream and switch the guys on, and then they'll go and just sit for survival to the thing to until they breach them. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point it was going so hard. I saw Lizo having to come back from the back. By the time Lizo gets there, he's in the red. I think the same mistake that you guys did with ECC, where they are sprinter, 2 of their sprinters. Okay, one was in a breakaway and the other one was at the back, but they had to bring another sprinter to the front, and only to find out by the time the sprinter gets there, he's already in the red, and there's nothing more to spend. So I think that's just my personal. Other than that, there were brilliant moments that Almost Elites did, where they really try to control it. Again, it shows that the team is confident. They believe in themselves. They believe in themselves, and they want to really control the thing. So they tried to control. Where they tried, it go. But again, they go and they put in the work in the front. I saw a lot going to the front, putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? And I said, okay, cool, that's fine. I can see what you guys are doing. And then you have teams like Team Aslalinawe. For me, Aslalinawe, they've got strong riders. There's one team that you must never underestimate. You have Tautona, Tauya Juta. Your Tau there, Tau for me, Tau is always in the right places. If there's a breakaway, he's there. You know what I'm saying? But he always finds himself alone. I think he finds himself in the same situation with Tlotlo from Exaro, where he's alone, because I know he was in a breakaway towards the end, and then he was dropped at what do you call this thing, at the steps. But also when he looks back, and he had team members, he had team members there. So you had Carbon Body, but when you looked, there was no one. He ended up finding himself alone. And when you are alone, guys don't play with you. They are not, they are not your team member. You become friends after. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. And then team again. Okay, I think I spoke about team 189, where we had Spoo. Spoo is a very seasoned rider, very intelligent, strong rider. So Boo understands positioning. For me, Boo understands positioning. He will always find himself at the right places at the right time. But his team members are not there with him. You know what I'm saying? And that's where sometimes the problem is. So you must always make sure when you find yourself, you position yourself, you're always there with your team members. Your team members will always be together. Like I'll say, that promotes communication. You guys can react to any situation that comes up, whether you are saying you're going for breakaway or not. Or if someone of your team member says they want to go on a breakaway, say, that's not necessary, come back, you don't have to go, sit here, we'll catch them, or something like that. But I always say we stick together. And then I'm not sure what team am I forgetting. I think these are the teams that were very impactful for me. Like I'm saying, I think I spoke about Vaki, like I'm saying, very disciplined team. You know what I'm saying? You can even see them when they do team rides. They will always have a full contingent of their riders coming in to do, because they understand that their strength is when they are together. So for me, that's a team to watch. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's that. And I think, okay, now let's talk about the purpose here of Wafa Wafa. So Wafa Wafa for me, it's simple, right? The purpose of Wafa Wafa is to give us Umtumnyama platform to ride together. We want to break borders. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I say break borders, is that we see ourselves, in most cases, we are racing together from elite into VA, into VB, down until even E, EL, or AL open seated. We see each other, we ride each other. We get dominated by Maho, who just dominate us because we don't see each other as brothers. We see each other as teams first. You know what I'm saying? So I say, if we start breaking borders here now, Wafa Wafa, by the time we get there, it becomes easier. We recognize each other, we know each other, and then we help each other more racing. Someone, if you see one of your guys is there, you want to break away, say, man, let's go together, we'll see what we do. But from here until at least 5 kilometers or last 2 kilometers, let's try and work together. That's one of the purposes that Wafa Wafa. Secondly, is that Wafa Wafa is also a platform to perfect our skill, our ride. we must perfect our riding skill, because these are the things that happens with the racing. They happen. And you guys only want to try and learn to attack in a race. Because I see a lot of you guys, because I'm always in the car supporting. And I see how you guys ride. Guys will just sit there to survive in the bunch. Guys will survive. Even strong guys will sit there to ride and to survive. Just let the bunch go. To go towards the finish, the guys are just sitting there. They just go and attack 1-2, 1-2. The guys are out. Boom, 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 boom. There. We lose. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare where we win, and if you win, I don't know who you're saying. But all I'm saying is that these are platforms where we constantly simulate racing, and we perfect ourselves. We even know. It's also an opportunity for us to know what is it that we have as black riders. I know what, certain teams, they've got very strong riders. And I'm not saying I know so that we can go and steal them or steal each other. No. But sometimes there comes a situation where, for example, if you look at that that Brothers Unite project, Yako Clarence, at least now we know that, listen, man, we know who and who is a very good rider in the team. Can you bring them so that we can try and formulate the team if ever those situations comes up again? So that now we know, we know who are the riders. We can suggest one another in different platforms where riders are needed, black riders. We can suggest one another. Secondly also is that, guys, for me, it's about time that we create our own black economy where we keep the money rotating amongst ourselves and amongst our clubs. Because every race we paying now at about 500 rand, 600 rand a race, where we take the money and we give them all kumahoeng. Take all this money, we give them kumahoeng, and then there's nothing happening for us. There is nothing happening for us. So there's an opportunity for us to keep the economy amongst ourselves, where we say, all right, we'll do Wafa Wafa from here. Wafa Wafa, where's the next project? There's the Vukani tour to Rustenburg. We go that one. We support the Soshanguve one. You know what I'm saying? But we keep it amongst ourselves. We support these initiatives, our black initiatives, because what is it? We are forever givers. We will forever be giving to the economy, where we are. We are the biggest customers. People are just eating away from us, eating, but we are getting nothing. We are buying expensive bicycles there, buying 100,000 bikes that we buy. We go to these shops, we spend tires and tubes, we buy we are forever buying. But none in this whole economy is there where the black man receives and say, all right, now the black man is the one that's going to be the beneficiary. If we don't create those small economies for ourselves, we will forever be the ones that are being taken advantage of. And sometimes, guys, for me, this is my opinion. Just for the fact that it's a project run by our black brother, I don't even care. I don't go there looking for mistakes. You guys start late, for example, because you know how these other, what I don't know. Now sometimes about man, they would look for the stupidest thing for them not to support a project. We went there and then there was a pothole on the road. Yeah, but we know this is a fundraising project. We try and close, but we don't have a budget to go and buy now a whole, to go and require the pothole, say 500 on the road. We'll try to take the best road. We'll try and take the best road, but we look for the most, for me, I always listen for reasons why people sometimes don't support this other project. It's the pettiest reasons ever. Mar a go tle 94.7 no, or go tle Tshwane Classic, or go tle whatever. These races. We take our money, people will fly to Durban. People will spend over 7,000 rand. Whereas Wafa for what? It's 250? Guys, come on. And Wafa Wafa has got the best adrenaline ever. Dude, really, the benefit for me, and I can only speak about Wafa Wafa obviously because of, I'm involved in the planning. So other guys, maybe they can speak for their projects. They do. But we always, for example, we always try and we must learn to support one another. But other than that, long story short, Wafa Wafa was one of the best ones, one of the best ones I've seen. We averaged, I think, 38. Wow. We can only go from levels to levels, and it's becoming difficult every day. And that's what we want. It must never drop its standards in terms of riding. It must never do that. It must always push us to the limit, until we find ourselves at a place where now we know that, oh wow, we can deliver at our platforms. My wish is to see a scooter or a Veni or a Mazola being selected to represent the country. For now, we are not in that position because we are not winning any races. Our guys are not being selected to represent the country because they don't win. And one of the selecting criteria to represent the country is for you to win a race. You just need to win it. At least like the big ones, like you win a 94.7, you win the an Amashova, you win a Cape Town Cycle Tour, like these big ones. If you can win those ones, our guys will always end up in my top 10, 15, top 10, 15. And remember, people only remember champions, not almost. No, our second position, third position, that's nothing. You must win. Then that's when we remember. That's where we will remember. People remember champions. So for me, that's that. We are building towards it, and the building is starting with these small initiatives. You know what I'm saying? We can sit there and come up with a strategy to say, no, we must build a training center where we bring state of the art. We can do that. I mean, how much is that going to cost us? We need to have first raise $1 million to first rent a place, and then it's a lot of money. But if we start here with a small one and we start competing amongst ourselves, we make sure that by the time we take guys to this big road, to these big races, we know right now we've got a scooter in there, we've got a Vini in there, we've got a Mazola in there. We've got these guys that you can really fight. They are not only carrying their team, they're carrying the skin. They're carrying the skin. Then we support. We don't just support teams. We are past the stage where we see each other as teams, Baba. We must start seeing each other's skin color, because it is what it is. It is what it is. So that we can promote. So that we can start promoting ourselves. We must have our champion. We know that we've got these guys. These are our champions that we are sending, and we support them in all ways that we can. So for me, that's that. Other than that, Wafa Wafa was amazing. It was amazing. For me, I don't know how many times did I find myself crying there. Just like tears rolling, because brilliant moments were happening in the ride. In that ride. Other than that, thank you very, very much. We'll have the last Wafa Wafa towards the end of the year, because we do twice. We are hoping that maybe 2024 we'll probably do 3 Wafa Wafa, so that we are always competitive, and our X's are always sharp. You know what I'm saying? Our riders get lepe. So how is lepe? You must always make sure that you are sharp, because you can be called anytime to say, so that you sharp your knife and your X is always sharp, so that you can perform at the right time, at the right moment. And it is platforms like this that we use to make sure that we go and I always say sport is an action thing. Sports is an action thing. I don't want us to be in boardrooms debating already what strategies. We can debate strategy so much. We can talk transformation. We can talk so many things, guys. We can talk transformation, but at the end of the day, it boils back to performance. We can talk transformation that no, we want black people to be the first one to be given preference. Are sharp. Let's give them preference. Win. And then you guys don't win. It forfeits the purpose. But anyway, I don't want to be political. All I'm saying is that it's these platforms that makes us better people and make sure that we perform at the right times. Other than that, thank you very much. I hope to see you at the next Wafa Wafa. And this comment and this video, I've done it at my own personal view, and I've done this at my own personal view. Ke kopa lo sa latela team e ke leng busy kwen lore monaemana a re. This is just at my own personal one because I think I've got a right to an opinion. So yes, thank you very much, guys. See you again at the next Wafa Wafa. Yeah, ithatha ntwe.